What if Mace Windu went to confront and arrest Palpatine before Anakin went back to the Jedi Temple? That's our story for today. Hope you guys enjoy listening to this as much as I enjoyed writing it, and let's get right into it. Our story begins on Coruscant, inside of the Jedi Temple communications room. Anakin has just entered, and is standing next to Mace Windu, as Commander Cody appears via hologram from Utapau, to inform them that General Grievous has been engaged by Obi-Wan. In the communications room, there is a strange feeling that is a mixture of tenseness, determination, anticipation, maybe a hint of fear. This should signal the end of the war, but Windu just had a very strange feeling about everything. He knew something was not right, and so, as Anakin entered the room, Windu used his own mind to slowly float a tiny listening bug into Anakin's pocket. And then, Anakin was sent to Palpatine's office to inform him of this new development. Mace didn't trust Anakin right now. Why should he? The boy almost erupted in the council after being denied mastery. He was a ticking time bomb, but he was their best chance to get close to Palpatine. Did Mace feel bad or wrong about planting a listening bug on Anakin? Sure, but he would rather feel bad now than have regret later. So as Anakin entered Palpatine's office, Windu took a seat alone in the communications area and began listening to their conversation. Anakin began talking with Palpatine about Grievous and Obi-Wan, when Palpatine said that he can only hope that Kenobi is up to the challenge. And Anakin replied that he should be on Utapau with him. Windu heard this, and part of him agreed, though he did think Kenobi could handle this assignment alone. And then Palpatine told Anakin that he doesn't understand why the Jedi Council doesn't appreciate Anakin's talents. Then he asked Anakin if he wonders why he isn't a Jedi Master. Mace heard this and thought to himself that it's because Anakin is unbalanced, Ahsoka's training was incomplete, and most of Anakin's accomplishments came from war. Wars do not make a Jedi great. Anakin told Palpatine that he feels that he is excluded from the Council, and that there are things about the Force they are not telling him. And Windu grabbed at his chin, truly wondering what Anakin could be talking about. And then Windu heard Palpatine say that they don't trust Anakin, that they see his future, and that Anakin's powers will be too strong to contain. And now Windu was more concerned than ever. He and the Council always knew that Palpatine was heavily influencing Anakin, but now Windu saw the truth. All of the disdain and stress that Anakin carries with him comes from Palpatine putting these ideas in his head. And Palpatine then told Anakin to let him help, to let him explain the subtleties of the Force, not just the dogmatic views of the Jedi, but the dark side as well. And Windu had it now. His own suspicions were that someone high up in the Republic was the Sith Lord. He knew that it could be Palpatine, and this conversation was all the confirmation that he needed. So he rounded up Fisto, Kolar, Sazitin to go to Palpatine's office. They would arrest him, unless he put up a fight. Then anything was on the table. And as they were getting into the transport, Agen Kolar asked what they would do about Anakin, and Mace said that if he truly wants to be a Jedi Master, then he will choose to fight with them. If not, then they will have a new issue to deal with. And so they took off for the office. Anakin Skywalker was staring at Palpatine, his mentor, the man who was like a father to him, with genuine anger. He was the Sith Lord. Anakin had his lightsaber at Palpatine's neck, and part of him really wanted to just push it forward, end Palpatine's life, end this war right here, right now. But the other part of Anakin knew that Palpatine was right. No matter what Anakin was feeling, part of him wondered if the dark side is the path to take. But he told Palpatine that he would go to the temple, and he would tell the Jedi. They would know what to do. Palpatine smiled warmly now, and told Anakin to take a seat first. Palpatine could suddenly feel the Jedi approaching in a transport from across Coruscant. They were coming to arrest him already, and Palpatine wanted Anakin to be here for when it all goes down. Anakin was too confused and broken to stop this, so he followed Palpatine to the desk, putting his head into his own hands. Palpatine was now telling Anakin that when the time comes, he will have to make a choice. He can choose the Jedi Order that he admittedly does not trust, or he can choose to save Padme by joining him. Anakin didn't know what to do, or what to think. He'd been a Jedi for as long as he could remember, but he needed to save Padme. Were the Jedi evil? Was Palpatine right? A million questions were swirling through Anakin's mind, but he wouldn't have time to answer them, as a moment later, Windu and the 3 other Jedi entered the office, igniting their lightsabers, telling Palpatine that he is under arrest. Palpatine looked to Anakin and told him that he knew it would come to this. Those with power, like the Jedi, are afraid to lose it. Anakin tried to tell the Jedi to stand down, but a moment later, Palpatine ignited his own red blade, saying that if this is what it has come to, he has no choice but to defend himself. And Anakin ignited his own blue blade, though he barely registered it. Palpatine told him he will know what to do. Then, the Sith Lord spun at the Jedi with a loud scream, immediately cutting down Agen Kolar and Saesee Tiin, then engaging Windu and Fisto through the hallway. Anakin didn't budge. Instead, he was staring down at the suddenly lifeless bodies of Kolar and Tiin. Anakin didn't know these Jedi too well, but they were two of the longest standing council members, now dead without any fight at all. Sidious was powerful, and now Anakin ran into the hall as one blade was extinguished. On the floor, Anakin saw Kit Fisto now missing an arm, and with a stab wound through his chest. His life was fading, but he looked to Anakin, and with his final breath, Fisto told Anakin that he was sorry. The Jedi have failed him, but turning to the Sith would be the worst mistake of his life. And Fisto died, as Anakin could hear the blades of Windu and Sidious continuing to clash in the next room. Anakin closed his eyes, knowing what he must do after seeing this violence from Sidious, and he ran in to see the Jedi and Sith dueling each other. It was a blur of red and purple going at each other, the best of the Jedi versus the best of the Sith. Two sides of a war coming to a head in the final day. Anakin watched as they got to the window, cutting away the glass, and before anything else could happen, Anakin threw his saber across the room. It spun through the air, and Anakin heard a sudden scream as his saber cut through the eyes of Darth Sidious. Sidious fell to the ground, and Windu put a saber to his neck. Anakin grabbed his own saber again and told Windu that it was over. Sidious is no longer a threat, and before Windu could do anything that he may regret, Anakin took the tranquilizers from his belt and stabbed them into Sidious's neck, making Sidious go unconscious between his pained screams of blindness and betrayal. Windu stumbled backwards a bit as Anakin handcuffed Sidious, then apologized for not acting sooner. Upon seeing the true violence that Sidious was capable of, Anakin knew which path to take, and Windu accepted the apology. When he listened to Palpatine talking to Anakin, he understood just how far Anakin was manipulated, and for him to fight through that, to choose the Jedi, was impressive. Windu and Anakin would take Palpatine to the Republic prison with the unaltered recordings from his office, and Palpatine would be put into a highly secured cell. Ahsoka, Rex, and the 501st returned from Mandalore with Maul, and Maul was taken out of the Mandalorian vault, executed for his crimes by Republic officials, and Palpatine was placed in the Mandalorian vault instead of him until his trial. The Jedi and Senate tried to keep Palpatine's imprisonment as quiet as they could, until his trial at least, and although they had evidence of Palpatine being a Sith, they needed more. So Obi-Wan and Plo Koon were dispatched to Sereno to search Dooku's castle for any evidence of them working together, to further show that Palpatine committed treason of the highest accord. And as Palpatine was imprisoned, Kenobi and Plo went to Sereno. The rest of the council was recalled to Coruscant for the trial. Master of the Order Mace Windu was now alone in the council chambers with Anakin and Ahsoka. He first thanked Ahsoka for her work on Mandalore, then asked if she would return to the Order. Ahsoka said she could not do it just yet, but Windu asked her to return at least for a day, just so she can become a Jedi Knight, then slightly motioned towards Anakin. Ahsoka understood, and so with a smile, she said that she would return for now. Windu then promoted her to Jedi Knight, then turned to Anakin and asked him to kneel. He could now be made a Jedi Master. Anakin was still a bit conflicted. He did see the evil of Sidious and felt that he could not be trusted, but he thought Padme could still be in danger. Despite it all, Anakin would accept his promotion to Jedi Master with joy. He was finally a master on the council. He felt truly respected. Ahsoka would soon leave to go meditate on her own, and Windu asked Anakin why he wanted to be a master so badly. Anakin said that he felt he'd earned it, but then Windu pushed even more, asking why specifically he needed to be a master. And he asked Anakin if it had anything to do with his nightmares. Anakin looked up, genuinely surprised, but Windu said that he spoke to Yoda after Palpatine's capture, and Yoda mentioned the nightmares. Anakin said that this was the reason he wanted to be a master, so he could get access to the restricted section, find out how to prevent these nightmares. But Windu told Anakin to now follow him, and the two of them walked through the temple together. Then Anakin entered the restricted section for the first time, as Windu brought him to this section with everything that they knew about the Sith. After seeing how much Palpatine was relying on Anakin joining him, and hearing about Anakin's nightmares, something came to Windu. It was an ancient form of Sith alchemy, where a Sith can influence the thoughts, and maybe even the dreams, of someone close to them who is vulnerable. And Mace would leave Anakin alone to read through all of this and learn the truth. Palpatine did this to him. Deep in the Republic prison, when Palpatine eventually woke up inside of the Mandalorian vault, he found that his movement and his affinity with the Force was cut while in this vault. Palpatine had been banking on getting a trial, as he anticipated that he had full control of the Senate, and he could use his emergency powers to influence anything. But a group of senators recently got in the way of everything. Padme, Bail Organa, and Mon Mothma were leading a delegation of 2,000, and after Palpatine's imprisonment, his emergency powers were stripped away. Palpatine now felt much less confident in a trial at this point, and was now hoping for a way to escape. And luckily for him, there was a way he could do it. And once he was free, Palpatine knew that he would just execute Order 66, take control of the galaxy by force if he has to. He just needs his plans to come together, and for those he trusts to come to his aid. In the Jedi Temple, as the word of Palpatine being arrested by Anakin and Windu was being spread, a small group of Jedi began to gather and discuss what was next. This group consisted of a Jedi Temple guard and 3 Jedi that were fed up with the Council. They were named Iskat Akaris, Tualan Yulana, and Proset Dibs. These Jedi and the Temple Guard had all spoken to Palpatine one time or another, and all of them trusted him over the Jedi. Palpatine had been placing seeds in their mind to eventually get them to join his Inquisitorius, but today, perhaps they could be the ones to save him. So when they heard Palpatine was arrested, this group decided it was up to them to break him free and help him bring the Jedi to justice. So they put together a plan. Deep in the temple, as Anakin was reading more and more about Sith alchemy, he understood for certain that it had to be Palpatine who gave him these nightmares. Perhaps Padme was in no danger at all, but Anakin knew there was only one way to find out. He must speak to Palpatine, get him to admit that he put these dreams in his head, and only then could Anakin truly have closure and let go of his worries about Padme's death. So that night, Anakin left the temple, taking off for the prison to find Palpatine. As Anakin entered the prison and he walked past the clones, he heard some concerned chatter from the clones. Not because of anything going on in the war, but because the war was just announced to be over a handful of hours ago, after the Separatist leaders were found on Mustafar. The clones were glad they won, but now they wondered what was going to happen to them without the war that they were created for. It was a thought Anakin hadn't really considered, but he kept walking through the halls, entering the maximum security wing. And upon entering this wing, Anakin saw a hole in the wall being cut, and 4 Jedi were approaching Palpatine's cell. Anakin ignited his saber, yelling at them to stop, and one of these Jedi hit an emergency switch, locking the blast doors so no one would be getting in, and the 4 Jedi ignited their lightsabers. Anakin recognized one to be a Powin Temple Guard, and the other 3 were Jedi Knights that Anakin had not met. The Temple Guard yelled at Anakin that they do not need to be enemies. It is not too late for him to join them in rescuing Palpatine, bringing down the Republic and the Jedi. But Anakin had no interest in doing that. He would do what he must in order to keep Palpatine locked away, and so he approached these Jedi, but as he did, the now cold, snake-like voice of Palpatine whispered that this was good. He told Anakin to use his anger, strike down these Jedi that stand in his way. The 4 of them held up their sabers, and Anakin realized that the best way to defeat these Jedi, and to defeat Palpatine, was by showing restraint, defeating them without killing them. Show Palpatine that he is not evil like him. So Anakin moved into the 4 Jedi, taking them each on. The first to make a move was the Temple Guard, swinging at Anakin with his yellow lightsaber. Anakin sidestepped with elite speed, his own saber meeting the yellow blade in a clash of blue and yellow now. The other 3 Jedi moved in, but Anakin elbowed the guard in the face, then flipped away from the other Jedi, landing again to face the guard as he swung down on Anakin. Now Anakin blocked the strike, spinning to slice into the guard's leg, sending him stumbling back against the cold, metallic walls. Next came Iskat, her gaze burning with hatred as she unleashed a barrage of swings. Anakin deflected them effortlessly, and with a new powerful leap, he closed the distance between them, his blade carving through the air as he cut through her lightsaber, then kicked her into a nearby cell, slamming the door shut with the force. And as the air cleared, Proset and Tualan charged forward together. Anakin met their onslaught head-on, as one saber swung for his head, and the other one to his legs. Anakin dove to the wall, and now recovered as the two of them moved in at him again. This time, Anakin was ready, and he lunged forward, grabbing the throat of Proset and blocking a series of strikes from Tuolon with his one free hand. Anakin managed to cut the hands off of Tuolon and threw him into a set of pipes, then used the Force to use the pipes to restrain the Jedi. And with his other hand, Anakin choked Proset until he passed out, and then he let go. The Temple Guard was still awake despite being cut into, and Anakin held his lightsaber at his face, until finally, clone security was able to break through the blast doors and find Anakin with these 4 Jedi, alive but restrained. Along with the clones were Masters Windu and Yoda, who were alerted to the break-in, and they saw now what Anakin did, then nodded to him as the clones were arresting these Jedi. Anakin looked to the blinded Palpatine and said that he knows it was him that put the nightmares in his head. And through the Force, Anakin did feel a bit of panic as Palpatine realized he has truly lost. Around a day later, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Plo Koon would return to Coruscant with a Mechno chair taken from Sereno that had a message from Palpatine deep in its memory banks instructing Dooku to attack Coruscant. This, along with the recordings from Palpatine's office, were more than enough to lock up Palpatine for life as the war was officially ended, and the Republic could find peace as it began to rebuild. There were some concerns about keeping Palpatine alive, but the Jedi complied with the Republic, and they opted to have him survive just in the Mandalorian vault, locked in way maximum security. If there was another break-in, perhaps they would reconsider this, but for now, he would be locked away. Padme Amidala would be nominated to become the next Chancellor, but she had to decline as she was going to focus on raising her 2 twin children, both which were safely born around the best doctors that Coruscant could offer. Instead, the next election would be between Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, as Mas Amedda was trying to step in for Palpatine, but after seeing everything that Palpatine did, with Mas as the speaker, they decided that Mas could not be eligible, and they exiled him from the Senate completely. So when it was over, Mon Mothma would step in as Chancellor. Anakin would stay in the Order as a Council Master, and without war, he had more than enough time to be with his children and help raise them. He would grow his relationship with the Jedi on the Council, including Yoda, Windu, all of them just trying to learn how to be a better Jedi and a better man, and he would focus heavily on trying to turn the Council away from just focusing so much on the Senate and being peacekeepers for all of the people of the Republic. He wanted to start a bit of a reformation or change in the Council, without a complete overhaul. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka would see their own relationship with Anakin grow quite a bit, and when the time came, Obi-Wan would train Leia, while Ahsoka trained Luke. Around 10 years after it all, Luke and Leia were turning into very strong Jedi, under the tutelage of Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka. Yoda and Windu also offered to help with the training of these 2 children of the Chosen One, after seeing the path that Anakin almost went down. They wanted to ensure that these 2 Jedi could be the future of the Jedi Order. And folks, that is where our story ends for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's maybe just kind of seen as like, you know, predictable of sorts, but I really enjoyed the path of just kind of going through it and having Anakin have to make a big decision. I thought that was fun to do, and just having a story where Palpatine's arrested and it just doesn't end there, really exploring maybe some other Jedi that he could have had, and ultimately having a battle where Anakin has to face 4 Jedi that are turning to the dark side, and while he has to stay in the light. I thought that was a fun concept to explore, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I did mention last video that I'm doing a giveaway for the new Star Wars novelization, focused on the Jedi Council, and if you want to be entered in that, just go check out the most recent video, go to the end of that one. It'll just basically tell you what to do. To enter, just go to the most previous video, comment giveaway, then comment your favorite council member. I'll be picking the winner tomorrow. There's a giveaway, also the same giveaway for members only, so if you want to be in a more exclusive giveaway for it, you know, just go to the membership tab, hit join, and you'll be entered into the giveaway for the same book, just with less people. So hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Let me know what video you want to see next. I do have some ready to go, but yeah, let me know what you want to see. I'm always down to take some new ideas. Much appreciated. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.